da-da-dum-bum. Bartók begins the exposition of the sonata with a march in simple duple time, alternating a major triad with the trichord 0-1-4. The ostinato alternating bass establishes the illusions of drums, recalling Stravinsky's The Soldier's Tale that was performed in 1918, 8 years prior to the completion of the sonata. Please refer to example 1 on your pamphlet. In discussing The Soldier's Tale, Agalu actually says the march is presented in different guises or expressive registers without ever losing its intrinsic directionality. In other words, no matter what occurs circumstantially around the rhythm of the march, the feeling of a continuous rhythm made up of alternating eighth notes and eighth rests does not stop. Additionally, the interchanging major triad and the modernist 0-1-4 trichord expresses irony by juxtaposing traditional tonality with the modernist harmonic vocabulary. Let me play for you this first example. By keeping the duple pulse consistent in the accompanying eighth note material. According to Monell, who considered the march a military signifier, the march tells of heroism and victory. In using this march-like motif, Bartók alludes to the popular Bartók music of 19th century gypsy musicians who were employed to aid in the enlistment of army soldiers by inspiring men through their music. The Hungarian ethnomusicologist I.m4v describes some of the most common rhythms of the early period of Bartók. Dowdy rhythms of quaver value and the combination with two quavers are frequent at the beginnings of movements and period heads. So let me give you an example. Might be da 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 da. That might be one example. And here's another example. Da 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 ba. Aligning himself with the traditional tempi of other marches, Bartók chooses the most common tempo for a march, which is a quarter note to the metronome marking of 120 to 126. In the 18th century, the employed tempi for the marches varied from country to country. However, by the time that one observes the modern march, the standard tempo is between 100 and 120 steps per minute. In example 2, Bartók creates an allusion to drums by the manner in which he places his chords as a means to establish the oom-pop sound of the drums, low chords, alternating with single higher notes. This indicates that Bartók employed typical march characteristics in the first movement. So let me play that for you again. To disrupt the natural flow of music, thereby providing a sense of the gypsy contribution, Bartók not only interrupts with other meters, but also emphasizes the offbeat. So, by doing so, he contrasts the grotesque, which would be deemed as the metric instability often found in gypsy improvisations, with a march. According to Balint Sarosi, a Hungarian ethnomusicologist, the gypsy ensembles tended to be musically illiterate, so their improvisations would be considered in the low style. On the other hand, due to the formalized and consistent nature of the march, it would be considered in the high style because the march is used in upper-class ceremonial music, creating a sense of pomp and circumstance, thereby implying a high or learned style simultaneously. For instance, in measure 13, as seen in example 3, Bartók inserts a measure in 3/4, only to return to the original meter in the next bar. This additional beat gives a sense of phrase completion and allows for an anacrustic beginning for the march to continue. Bartók also plays with the meter in the section the theorist Joseph Strauss refers to as the second theme. Please refer to example 4, which sounds like this. Starting in measure 47, Bartók of a subtonal mezzochiaro. We just play that last example.